This video is brought to you by Longoni Q's.
Hi pool players, it's the Terminator. Welcome back to this special episode. I'm back in the awesome Longoni factory and today I'm meeting up again with Pierluigi Longoni and we're going to discuss how the Luna graphite shaft is made, what materials are used and which steps are taken to give you the best possible quality. Follow me. Ciao Pigi, tutto bene?
Everything great, thank you,
Cool.
happy to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be back as always in the factory. I brought my almost 80,000 subscribers with me and we would like to have a lesson in how the graphite Luna Nera shaft is made. Can you do that for us today?
With pleasure.
Awesome, let's get going. One of the questions I got on the YouTube channel was when did the production of the Luna Nera shaft actually start?
Thanks to the evolution of the composite material, we were able to come out with the first prototype in August 2020, soon after the COVID.
I remember that period because you know what was funny? I always said I would never play with a graphite shaft, but I remember that summer when you sent me the first prototype of the shaft and I tested it and I really liked it. And for me personally, what was very important was the consistency of the shaft. Also, if you're a traveling tournament player, when there's humidity, the wooden shaft, which are great by the way, I used to always play with the S2 shaft, but they can warp when it's humid and you travel around a lot. But the graphite shafts, they just never warp. And also just the cleanness of it, the hit, I fell in love with the shaft right away. The Longoni brand has existed for almost 80 years and the quality you can see everywhere. It's super nice. Can you explain me how long the Longoni brand has actually been working with the composite materials?
Yes, Italy is a particular country because we were one of the first place in the world starting using composite material for fiber shaft. We started in the beginning of the 80s,
okay.
So a long time ago, over 40 years of experience. The boost came out just before the 2020 because a new type of graphite with a new technology of working came out. And this make it possible to create a new evolution of the composite fiber for pool game especially, and also for some other discipline. But now the level of the composite material is much higher than the beginning, of course, and is totally reliable.
Awesome. Can you show us the materials that go into the production of the shaft?
Yeah. Everything starts with something really antique, weaving, because the first step is to weave the graphite very thin wire, like they used to make carpets or textile thousands of years ago. But the graphite is a very complex material that has a very high strength, but is very light. So they created the wire, they weave a textile that is very flexible, and once they created the textile, they fill up with a special resin this textile and they wrap around the mold.
Okay.
It's not so easy because all the layer of the tube to reach the thickness required are not put in a random way. They are calibrated. Some layers have one direction, some layers have a different angle to compensate the hardness through all the length of the shaft. Once they created the shaft on the mold, then everything has to be heated up and put to certain pressure so to polymerize and to make the hard tube everybody knows.
So what you're saying is that not every shaft is made in the identical same way. You say some are layered this way, that way. That's a very delicate process.
Some profile require that the harness in this position or in the frontal position is different. Some other profile are different, depending on the specific need. For example, a Luna Nera brake shaft needs a certain hardness. The Luna Nera American profile needs another one, has to be more elastic.
Okay.
And thanks of the positioning of this textile, you can reach different hardness. But again, is something that basically is something antique, but has been updated of thousands of years of evolution.
And what is then actually the process of getting this into this?
This textile is filled up with resin, and once is wet, is wrapped around the mold, very precise mold, very straight mold, and after you position all the layer, then it's heat up and put with a very specific pressure for a certain time, and then when it's hard, when the resin is polymerized, you cannot go back. The shaft is ready, it's hard.
But PG, if I look at this shaft and feel it, it's super light. That's not how my shaft is.
Right. Graphite basically is famous to be strong and extremely light. So we have to apply a technique to make it the right way for a pool player like you. And we use a ballast. Try to use this magnet on a Luna Nera.
Anywhere?
Anywhere, try. At a certain point, oh!
Check this out, guys. There's a piece of metal in there.
This ballast, made of metal and double black linen, is positioned in a certain point of the shaft as a counterweight to create the right balance point for your game. Otherwise, the shaft will be unusable. And to fix it, we use a very special glue, because graphite requires special glue. And then we fill it up with a special resin to block it totally and to absorb any type of vibration.
Because if it starts moving, you get a certain tick in the shaft, potentially.
Yeah, potentially,
that's what you don't want.
That's a risk. So with that sealant and the special glue, you cannot move it. You have to break the shaft to take it out.
PG, I see a lot of empty tubes here. What's the next step in the process?
Now we have to put a special resin to block the ballast. It's a very simple process, but essential. Thanks with this machine, we put a certain quantity. It's a slow process. We have to check if the weight is respecting the parameter of production, and if it's okay, we leave it here until the resin polymerizes and is hard.
How long does that take?
24 hours.
24 hours. PG, we've seen a lot of really cool steps in this process, but what about the joint and the insert for the shaft?
We're almost there. We are installing the brass insert into the shaft. We install normally BP2 joint or unilock, and up to the request of the customer, and we are opening up for new joint soon. With this machine, is a high-precision machine, through different steps, we are drilling and rectifying to include the brass insert with a perfect alignment with the shaft. Once the glue gets hard, cannot be removed from the shaft.
For life.
Yes, it will be part of the shaft forever.
Feijen, we've come to the end of our entire process here. I want to thank you a million. Grazie mille. And I want the cue.
You want the cue? It's yours. Thanks for your
Thanks a lot. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I want to thank Pierluigi again for this beautiful video. Again, if you're interested in one of the Longoni cues, the flames or the sparkle models, or the breaker, head over to the Terminator shop. Check out everything that's available for you. And right now, I'm gonna hit some balls with this puppy right here. I'll see you at the practice table.